What's up, everybody? Welcome into the Fantasy Football Game Show here on Better Sports Network. We are the Front Yard Fantasy crew, and we are joined today by our special guest, Jorge Martin, to help us out with some Dynasty Quarterback tiers. Jorge, thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, mis amigos, thank you so much for having me on May the 4th. May the 4th be with you always, and everyone else out there. Thank you. And happy pre-Cinco de Mayo. Cinco de Mayo Eve.
Cuatro de Mayo. We got one day before. Guys, as always, joining me are my co-hosts, Joey Wright, and our guest co-host, Front Yard fan member, Tim Wright. What's up, guys?
That's not my name. That's not my name.
Sorry, we've got C3P Joe and Never Tell Me the Odds. What's up, guys? Joey, you're now required to do your best C3P Joe impersonation.
Oh, hi. It's actually really close. Oh, my God. It's close, isn't it?
Wow.
Whoa.
That was so good.
Today here, folks.
Honestly,
so
is your start sits and salutations character just C3PO and he got
I think
knocked
it
on
just
the
might
head
be
really
that.
hard,
I don't
like
know.
lost all of his knowledge and just has the personality? Well, guys, we got some people in the chat ready for today's show. Scott Fishing here said, good luck finding out when and where pub trivia is. They never tell me. Well, good news, Scott. I'm going to tell you right now. Better plug your ears if you want to keep using that excuse. We got pub trivia live tonight, myself, Joey, and Tim at 6 p.m. Eastern time. Right here, you can catch it watching it in the usual places. But if you want to play along the Better Sports app, you can download that on the Google Play or iPhone App Store and play along with us tonight at 6 p.m. We got Albert in here. Says, hello, everyone. Then Jorge.
Alberto.
Excited to see Jorge.
Alberto. And Mr.
Damon here.
Scampers.
We got Dame said, I'm excited to see Jorge today. Mr. Scampers in the chat, hyped for Jorge. And Jay said, love the Mexico hat, Jorge.
Arriba.
Put it
Too
on
bad,
in honor.
too bad Shohei Ohtani was so damn good in the ninth inning there against Mexico and got that comeback. But that's okay. That's okay. Almost got there.
I thought you were going to say, too bad Shohei Ohtani's not from Mexico.
Yeah.
I'd love to claim him. I'd love to claim him as a Mexican, as an American. I want to convert to being Japanese to be able to claim the same country as him.
Yeah, that would have helped whatever team he ended up on there. We got Dave in the chat. What's up, Dave? Welcome in, my friend. And Victor with the happy Thursday, bro chachos. What's up, Victor? What's up, my bro chacho? NKC in the chat. What's up, NKC?
MKC.
And we had a question from Grim Fan to kick us off today. What we've all been waiting to find out, every single one of us. What are your thoughts on Brett Rippon signing the Rams to back up Stafford? Jorge, do you have a strong opinion here on Brett Rippon signing to the Rams as a backup QB?
Well, I think it actually shows the confidence level in Stetson Bennett, that fourth round pick, which everybody thought was a major reach. So, Brett Rippon, hopefully he's just a camp arm because that means that Matthew Stafford is healthy. Please, por favor, Matthew Stafford be healthy.
Please.
Yeah, it looks like you're agreeing with Jorge. This is just another body.
Yep, pretty much.
Just one of those backup quarterbacks making their rounds. I would love that job. I know that's like a trope. It's like it's a stereotype. It's a trope. I'm not the first, second, or millionth person to say that, but there's a reason everybody says it. That's a sick job, man.
Do you have a favorite backup quarterback of all time? I do, and that's why I'm asking the questions so that I can talk. Go ahead, Simon.
Josh McCown is my favorite backup quarterback of all time. I feel like he was a real team player. He never made it about himself in there, but when he went in, he went all in. Like finding the quarterback that is like willing to fully step back, when they're the backup and be a role model. And then when you put him in, flip switched, I will dive through the air and let you spin my body like one of those things you drop whenever you're on the playground when you're 3. Like Josh McCown's a hero, man.
Does Fitzmagic count?
I think he's the patron saint of backup quarterback.
That's what I'm saying.
He's so good at being a backup quarterback that the lead quarterback's just like, I'll just go down. Just look at the magic on the field. Mine's Charlie Whitehurst, clipboard Jesus. Just the best. Yeah.
Yes.
Go Tigers.
Can I give two quick ones?
Of course.
One is going old school. Don Strock, Miami Dolphins, early in 81 or 82. He orchestrated one of the first big of all time. I still think is one of the greatest games I've ever seen, where the Chargers won in overtime 41-38, but they were up 24-0. Strock came in, made it crazy. The other one is Frank Reich because of that incredible comeback against the Houston Oilers.
There we go.
Nice.
And we got some coaches getting named here. Scamper's agreeing with me. Josh McCown, their current quarterback coach, favorite, and then Frank Reich, current coach as well. Jeff Hostella, Adam, our producer, saying all-time great mustache. Grim fan saying Alex Smith. I guess he's a. I don't consider him. I guess he is. Scamper's a green with Whitehurst, and Jay coming in with the same thing as our producer Adam with some more Jeff mustache in there. Well, this was a nice little appetizer for what we're actually going to be talking about today.
Yeah.
Some backup quarterbacks, but we're going to be putting into tiers the dynasty quarterbacks. I know Jorge's been chomping at the bit, been doing a lot of quarterback research going into this season. So I'm excited that we have Jorge here to talk about it with us. Before we get into that, though, a couple reminders. First and foremost, if you're not already following our friend Jorge, you need to go and do that right now. For those of you that do not know him, he's the founder of Familia FFB. And you can find that work over with the Fantasy Points Media Group, and just recently started doing some Fantasy Pros baseball work as well. Jorge, you're everywhere. You're doing it all. So everybody make sure you're following our friend Jorge, not only for the fantasy advice, but these guys will back me up.
Oh, he's a great dude.
Oh.
Great dude.
Like almost painfully kind. Jorge, you inspire me to be a better person when we hang out.
I still want them to put his panel from FSGA like out for the public. It might be. But he was moderated so well at that panel. So great. Jorge just
I think it might be, but thank you. If I find, I think it's somewhere, and I'll put it. I'll tweet it out. But what a great time! What a great time! Got to hang out with Simon and Joey and Tim, my man. We got to sing and drink together at the karaoke, and oh, gosh, that's why I feel when I say todos somos familia, you guys are familia to me. So just love you guys so much. This is
feelings
awesome.
mutual, Jorge.
Aww.
We got
it might be different if the Lakers and Nuggets play against each other.
I just have a cool hat. It won't hurt my feelings. I'll wear the hat and pull for the Lakers with you. I'm LeBron. I am not afraid of being a poser because I like hats more than I like most sports teams. NKC in here, speaking of some family, coming back in the chat, said, remember me? We do. Welcome back in, my friend. Mm-hmm. Welcome back in. Or we could take this as a threat. Remember me.
There is no question mark.
Or he's watching Coco.
That's what I was thinking too.
Remember me.
Yes.
All possibilities. Well, guys, I'm going to go ahead and pull up this board of tiers, explain how this is going to work, and then we're going to get started. The game today, less of a game and more of an exercise. We're going to be putting all of these dynasty quarterbacks into a tier list before the season starts. We know their landing spots now, so we can make some more decisions. We've got most of the fantasy relevant quarterbacks listed down here. We'll take turns nominating quarterbacks and then saying what tier we would put them in for dynasty. We'll go like that till we run out of time or run out of quarterbacks. And if we run out of quarterbacks, then this was probably an awful show to watch. No value at all whatsoever. So here's hoping we only get through like 8 of them.
Can I shout out Jay for the images? And kudos to Jay for not sitting on his butt. He got the correct jersey on Aaron Rodgers. Good job, Jay.
Oh, yes.
I'm loving that Joey Berg, Kyler Murray's short, Kirk Cousins in the chain. That's fantastic.
Does Lamar Jackson got sunglasses? Oh, yes.
Oh, sweet.
And we got a nice picture of Gardner Minshew in there as well. Someone's taller than Kyler.
Why does Bryce Young like The Rock?
And I know Joey didn't mess with Kenny Pickett's picture, but it looks like he messed with Kenny Pickett's picture.
I love that Kyler Murray barely is in the picture.
Yeah.
I think Bryce Young's was his like high school picture.
Did you
nice work, Jay?
Justin Herbert for Kenny Pickett, and I would have noticed.
Did you see Bryce Young behind the podium at the Panthers press conference?
No, I did not.
They gotta get a smaller podium to put him behind. It's just it was bad.
Bad optics.
Yeah.
Where is he on here? I don't even see Bryce Young on this list.
Second row, fourth from the right.
There we go. Yeah, not too sure. He's looking handsome. We got Dustin in the chat ready for quarterback tiers just in time to get mad at where we tier everyone. We got Cameron in the chat. What's up, Cameron? Welcome into the fun.
Welcome.
Let's go. Welcome in. Also, Grim wanted to know about our schedule. So we're doing this normal game today. We're doing tiers today instead of one of our other games. We're going to do that from 3 to 4 p.m. So that would be 2 to 3 p.m. Central Time. And then tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Central Time, we have pub trivia. So you can tune back in for that. Jorge, You're up first here, and I'm going to ask you to nominate whichever quarterback you want to talk about first. It can be one of the guys that you think belongs at the tippy top, or you can start wherever you like. We'll all say what tier we think they belong in, why we think they belong there, and we will average out the numbers that we give. Wherever they land, they will end up going. And if there's a tie, if it lands at exactly 0.5, tie goes to the guest. So, Jorge, your vote's going to have a little extra pull here.
Ooh.
Which quarterback do you want to start with?
So considering that it is May the 4th, May the 4th, I'm going to have a Star Wars theme to this. And this is actually a shout out to our friend Mauricio Gutierrez, who calls this quarterback the Mandalorian. Ooh. Josh Allen. Let's put him in there. Let's just start right there with the conversation. I mean, he had a rough second half because he was battling an elbow, and now he's going to be healthy.
What tier would you put Josh Allen in?
Oh, definitely first tier.
First tier?
Yeah.
Is he your top overall quarterback in Dynasty, or are there other names we're going to talk about that maybe beat him out?
There is one that's I have ahead of him in Dynasty, and we'll talk about. I'll save it when we bring him up.
Well, I'm not sure how much controversy we'll have on Josh Allen here. Tim, where are you putting Josh Allen? What tier?
Yeah, it hurts my soul, but I mean, yeah, he can't not be. The dude's a moose. Like
coming from a Dolphins fan who not only is not ashamed of the homerism, but brags about it. It's a feature, not a bug, that Dolphins homerism on Tim Wright. Yep. Putting Josh Allen in tier 1. We got 2 tier 1s. Joey, are you going to cause some controversy here, or are you putting him in tier 1 as well?
I'm just saying Tim could have caused controversy. He's like, we're all going to go tier 1 here, and you could have gone 2, and then your fan base would have been even more riled up for you.
That's true. I'll go 2.
Yeah, I think with
Tua.
With Jorge, there's one guy I have in front of him, but it's a 1A, 1B situation with those two. Tier 1 for me.
How do you not? Josh Allen is the kind of quarterback that I feel like is also going to age gracefully, right? He's proven to us now that he can do it as a passer. And this is a offense that has room to grow on the passing side of the ball, whether it seems like that or not. They were a top half team in passing attempts last year, but not a top 5 team, top 6 team. So they're adding pieces to potentially take some of that goal line work away. I think we're seeing Josh Allen, and it may not even be his fantasy peak yet. Maybe we have more years from him to come. Tier 1.
I will say he has thrown a lot. He's really good at throwing interceptions nowadays. So maybe that knocks him down to 2. He rushes for a touchdown. He throws a pick. He only gets 2 points for the touchdown. So.
And Jorge was pissed about what I had to say about Josh Allen. Had to get out of here. It was a Mandalorian emergency. He had to run out, but he'll be right back. Tim, you get to say the next quarterback that we want to talk about. Before we do that, though, Dustin in here saying we got something right. Josh Allen tier 1. Thanks, Dustin.
Shocker.
Tim, which quarterback would you like to talk about next?
I want to talk about Anthony Richardson. Let's get a rookie.
Let's go, Tim. I'm so glad you're here. Yes.
I am so excited that this guy is not even tall enough for this guy's ceiling. But the floor is also pretty darn low. So I'll stretch at this point, and I'll give him a 3 until we see what he gets to do. I mean, he's got the physical attributes to be the absolute best there ever was. Or he could just be really bad. So I'm going upside. Give me a 3. I'm going to try and steal him if I have a rookie draft at some point. I want him on my team.
Tim going with Anthony Richardson in tier 3. Jorge, we got you back here now?
Yes, I'm back. My dog was barking at somebody who came to the door. Of course, they're going to come while I'm doing a live stream.
Of course. It's like whenever, if someone's going to mow your lawn that day, it has to be while you're on it. 100% of the time, it's impossible for it to happen otherwise. Tim putting Anthony Richardson in tier 3. Joey, C3P Joe, where would you put Anthony Richardson?
I could not agree with my brother more. It is tier 3 for Anthony Richardson. Of the rookie quarterbacks coming into the league, I like his situation the best. I like all 3 receivers, his top 3 receivers can get throw to. Offensive line's looking good. Jonathan Taylor can take some of the rushing away, but not to a point that's going to drop his value that much. Sky high ceiling. So yeah, it's tier 3. He could very well next year, we're talking, he could be at the top of tier 2. I have him, just for reference, I have him as my Dynasty QB 10. Like, ooh, I have him high. Nice. I got him above Kyler, Dak, Tua, and Bryce Young.
Yep, that's fair. Whenever I think about where he belongs in my dynasty rankings, around those names, it's not around Daniel Jones, Jared Goff, Kenny Pickett, and that feels like maybe the next tier to me. It's how you're differentiating these. I have to agree with you guys. It kind of hurts, but he deserves to sit next to Kyler in my mind, and that's where I'm going to put him. Like it's there's more upside, less security. I'm going to put him in tier 3. I didn't think we'd get a resounding agreement here, but we've got 3 tier 3 so far. Jorge, where are you putting Anthony Richardson?
He's at the tippy top of my tier 3. I actually have him as my number 9 quarterback.
Let's go!
Oh, let's go!
I think what we is your number 9 Deshaun Watson, Joey?
My number 9 is Deshaun Watson.
Okay, so that's where I flip-flop them. I'm going off a pure upside. I think this guy is special. I think he's in a great environment for a coach and an environment that's gonna grow him as a quarterback. He's playing indoors. It's gonna be a good conference. Not great pass defenses in there. I think he's gonna grow as a passer. I think we're gonna see a similar growth pattern that we saw with Jalen Hurts 2 years ago to maybe by 2025. I think Anthony Richardson's going to be, I think he's going to be scratching at tier 1 and maybe even in tier 1 by that point.
Dave down here saying that's spicy, Joey. Then Jorge started talking. He said, okay, damn, there we go. And I'm like, Dave, I love a good hype train. I'm selective about which ones I jump on. I don't jump on all of them, but when I jump on, I jump on. And boy, do I want to take it to this Anthony Richardson train. I do not.
This hype train is going so fast, and it's either going to get straight to its destination and be incredible, or it's going to just crash and burn, and nothing in between. And I can't wait to see what happens. Be there
for it. Yeah, I'm gonna be like that train guy, the one on TikTok, the really happy one. Even if it crashes, at least I got to watch it.
It's gonna be like the beginning of Bullet Train or the end of Bullet Train.
All right. Well, Anthony Richardson ending up in tier 3, a unanimous vote on that one. Joey, you've got the next selection here. Which quarterback do you want to talk about?
So I kind of want to set the lines here because we've got a tier 1 guy. We got a tier 3 guy. I'm going to go for the top of my tier 2, and I'm going to put Joe Burrow there. So close to being tier 1 for me. It just doesn't have, I only have 3 guys in my tier 1 for Dynasty. It just lacks a little bit of that high point upside to get him in tier 1. I mean, you can't argue with his weapons with T. Higgins, Jamar Chase. I wish there was a little bit more there for him, but yeah, definitely top of tier 2. Happy to have him on any dynasty team.
I hear you, Joey. I have to put him in tier 1.
Okay.
My tier 1 is maybe a little bit bigger. My tier 1, I think it's 6/7. It's 6.5. That there's like a tier 1.5 sitting between that second pick. And we talked a little bit about this because we were in a dynasty startup draft, Joey. These kind of 6 quarterbacks that you like, and I'm assuming it's probably the same 6 that I have up there. Mm-hmm. The reason I include him up there is I understand maybe some of that like upside that a rushing quarterback like Josh Allen has doesn't exist for Joe Burrow. But Joe Burrow does have a rushing profile. He adds that in there. And then the security of the team coming out and stating that they want to keep these players together, T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, those players coming out and stating they intend to stay together. There's so much security with Joe Burrow where maybe some other players I'm bumping up a tier because of upside or because of what they're doing now. The security for Joe Burrow, it's elite. I'm not sure there's a quarterback I feel safer with as my QB1 in Dynasty. So he's tier 1 for me.
Okay.
Jorge, we've got a tier 1 and a tier 2. Where are you putting him?
My tier 1 is 4 quarterbacks, and he's number 4 on that one.
Okay.
And it's just, and Joey, I was actually doing my tiers earlier, and I was just kind of like in preparation for this show, and I had him like number 4, but at the top of tier 2. But then I was just like, and I looked at him. His rushing upside is the same as Mahomes, and back-to-back years. I mean, almost 4,500 yards last year. I think he was at 48 the year before. I think. They love to pass the ball. I think he's right there. I think he's right there behind. And plus, he's young, and so yeah, he's not going to run like the other guys, but I think he's going to run just as much as Mahomes.
He's right on that line. It sounds like for all of us are kind of flirting with that line. Tim, where are you putting him? We've got 2 tier 1s and a tier 2.
I mean, Same line. So I'll just put him in. I'll put him in tier 2. It's going to wind up being tier 1, but just to make it as thin as it can be, I think he's right
Illustrate
there.
the point.
Yeah.
That's
Wow.
how I feel about it, though. Like it's like he's almost there.
Yeah.
So razor thin.
Point illustrated, Tim. Very well
Good job,
illustrated.
Tim.
Shout out Jay Wall.
Shout out Jay Wall. What's up, Jay Wall? Saying Jorge, welcome in, my friend.
If style was just like straight up style off the field was, then tier 0, like top of the list.
Yeah.
Just look at that picture. Come on.
Style on the field as well. And I know he doesn't get to pick those white Bengals jerseys. Legitimately, sometimes I lay in bed and I'm about to fall asleep and I remember they exist. And I was like, oh God, I gotta Google it right now. 2 a.m. Oh, I need to see Joe Burrow in that jersey.
Babe, what are you looking at? Nothing.
She's looking at the same thing. she's got Joe Burrow pulled up on her phone as well. We're both trying to be sneaky under the covers late at night, looking at pics of Joe Burrow. All right, well, it's my turn to name the next quarterback here. And there's so many ways we could go. I think I'm going to try to find where your line is for tier 1 and expand mine a little bit further down. Probably the last player that I have in tier 1. And that's Trevor Lawrence. He's got the skill set to be one of the top quarterbacks in the entire league, a team with a head coach that can do wonders for a quarterback. We saw massive development going into year 2. They're adding Calvin Ridley. This dude, the word generational was thrown around when he was drafted, right? And it was the one player that I feel like we didn't get the pushback for calling it. You called other players, everyone throws that word around. Well, with Trevor Lawrence, everyone was like, yep, you're right. He is a generational type talent. So I think he's tier 1. And as opposed to Joe Burrow, there's a little bit more upside here. Speaking of quarterbacks with maybe sneaking rushing ability, I put Trevor Lawrence in that same category with Joe Burrow and Patrick Mahomes. They can get some sneaky rushing yards, man. So it's not just going to have to be done through the air. And hopefully this Jacksonville team is on the upward trajectory and we get to see Lawrence grow with that. Tier 1 for me. Jorge, where are you putting Trevor Lawrence?
I have him solidly in tier 2. Because my tier 1 ends with Joe Burrow at number 4. I like the idea of what you had, but I think Trevor Lawrence, I could see him making the next step because I mean, gosh, he had such a good year last year and had a couple of hiccup games, but then really came on at the end. He's with a master play caller with Doug Peterson. I think he's going to take a little bit further step forward passing with Calvin Ridley this year and, adding in the rushing upside last year. I mean, he had 291 yards, which is about a little more than Joe Burrow, kind of like in them Patrick Mahomes range. But, we saw it when he was at Clemson, that big game, that run against Ohio State. He could just go 75 yards and just – I know you watch that too sometimes.
I watched that one. I did see that. I saw that. Maybe a couple times I saw that, Ron. So tier 2 for you, Jorge, for Trevor Lawrence, solidly, it sounds like.
Yes.
Well, Tim, we got a tier 2 and a tier 1. Same start as last time. Different people giving the votes. Where are you putting Trevor Lawrence?
Yeah, I think I'm more in your wheelhouse where I have a pretty large tier 1 category. Any of these guys that I get in a dynasty startup, I'm happy to get. And Trevor Lawrence is one of those guys that if you have that mid first round pick, I'm loving that spot and how those teams build out. So I'm going to give him the 1, man. Sometimes you see a ball get thrown out of this guy's hand and you're like, oh my God, he is so good. That was the best ball I've ever seen in my life. And then Calvin Ridley, I wound up watching his tape again maybe a week ago. The dude just gets open. He's so crisp with his routes. Talk about crisp routes. He's got the crispiest. And I think that's going to be such a fun combination there. So, yeah, give me tier 1. I think I have 5-6 guys up there. So,
and Tim, you made me realize something, maybe where I drew that line. It's the guys I would take before I took a single flex player in a super flex startup. Mm-hmm. It's the guys I would take before Justin Jefferson was considered.
Right.
Joey, we got 2 tier 1s and a tier 2. Where are you putting T-Law?
So that draft you talked about, we were talking about dynasty quarterbacks. I had the first pick of whatever pick I wanted, and I picked pick 6 because there are 6 quarterbacks I am happy to start a dynasty team with. Mm-hmm. Trevor Lawrence is number 6 for me, but he is in tier 2. I love the weapons he has around him. I just think he lacks that upside that we haven't mentioned my 2 other guys yet. That Two of the other guys in my top tier have. But absolutely love the talent. And like I said, I started my Dynasty startup with them. Happily.
Dustin Downer said, I've got Burrow and T-Law in tier 2. You know, some of these faces have been
Those
hard to
two
find. Trevor's was not. That is a distinct face that man has.
His neck is just, his bust in Canton is going to be so strange.
Wow. Whoa. Tim's already putting him there.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely, man.
All right.
As George Costanza said, a full head of hair is really, really important to me.
Beautiful. Also, we got Scott Fish in here saying Ian and I are excited to draft these guys in our new Dynasty startup with Joey, Simon, JL, and the guys. Wow. Let me know when those invites get sent out, Scott. I really appreciate it.
Last night, Scott messaged me.
Can I be in?
Yeah, I know. You are in, I think, actually. Yeah, you are in there. But Scott's not. So last night, Scott texted me. He's like, hey, Ian and I are excited for the startup. When's it start? Like, because he's been teasing me all week. And then I was like, Scott, you've got to be kidding me. And then he says, I'll call in a few minutes and you can be the one to tell Ian. Very funny. Very funny.
Oh, and I see better balls in the chat. I'm saying Dynasty startup, get me in. Maybe we'll have to launch another one. Maybe we do another redraft league or something, or a keeper league with some more people. Get something like that rolling. Well, I picked T-Law. We got 4 quarterbacks on the board, which means Jorge, we're back to you. Round 2, second name. Who do you want to throw up here on this tier list?
I want to get spicy on this one. Let's throw Bryce Young out there for to see what because I think he could go in so many different ways. Obviously, he's the 103 in rookie drafts right now. Consensus 103 after Bijan and Anthony Richardson. I've got him right now in my tier 4 with one other quarterback, the guy who got drafted after him. It's a very slight tier there, but I love the upside. I just don't know. I mean, I love the talent, love the upside. Don't know about his weapons. His offensive line is still kind of getting built out. I do love that he's playing indoors. So, but yeah, for right now, I got him in tier 4.
Tier 4 for Jorge. Tim, what about you? Where are you putting this player?
Yeah, that's pretty much right where I put him. Anthony Richardson just has the crazy upside that nobody else has, and that's why he got bumped up to that 3 level. Bryce Young, obviously worth the 101 in the actual draft, so they loved him. Weapons concern me, but I'm sure they're going to build that out. I'm excited to see where it goes, but I think he's got to land in 4 right now.
We got 2 4s for Bryce Young so far. Joey, what are you doing here?
I'm a little more optimistic. I have him at the bottom of tier 3, so I guess I'm kind of tier 4. I'm right where these guys are in a lot of ways. But I do think he's just a step above some of those tier 4 guys I have. Can I say their names? Like, am I revealing too much?
You can say this isn't a draft.
I'll just in that Jared Goff, Daniel Jones. Like, I would rather in a dynasty startup, I would rather take Bryce Young than those 2 guys.
And Joey, that's
me too.
Exactly what I was going to say. He fits that 3 more than that 4 for me. And part of it also is this is an oddly good situation for a first overall pick quarterback to land. And I know there's holes on this team, but this Panthers team is relatively set up compared to like the Jaguars whenever they drafted Trevor Lawrence, right? Compared to the Browns whenever they drafted Baker Mayfield. Like, these are awful situations we're usually throwing these players in. I don't mind it. I'm excited to see what the new coaching staff there does with this quarterback, and they'll get him another weapon. They'll get him some more weapons over there. So I'm going to go tier 3 with Bryce Young. I'm going to agree with Joey. But that being said, 2 3s and 2 4s. Tie goes to the guest. Bryce Young will end up in tier 4. And we just saw it pointed out in the chat. Is Hurts not on the possible list? I'm going through the images that I got from Jay this morning. I do not see Hurts in there, but I probably messed it up. It's probably on me, not on Jay.
Or is it the New York Giants fan not including the Eagles quarterback?
I was going to say.
It could be.
Yeah, you know
Jay
what?
Felicio.
One thing I didn't mention about him, I mean, he's got a great coach, a great head coach, Jim Caldwell as a quarterback's coach, and Josh McCown. I mean, just right there. I mean, I think he's got guys who have grown up, great quarterbacks helping him out. I think it's just a great situation for him in Carolina.
Tim. You get to pick the next player here. We just put Bryce Young in tier 4, one tier behind his fellow rookie quarterback, Anthony Richardson. Which quarterback do you want to talk about next?
I want to find God damn it. I want to find a tier 7, and I think the tier 7 I'm gonna have to do is maybe myself, Mr. Minshew. I don't necessarily trust that he's gonna get a starting job anytime soon. So career backup is not bad, but I need to find the line for the 7s. So give me a 7 there.
Him setting the outer limit with himself, putting Minshew in tier 7. Joey, CP3 Joe, where are you putting Gardner Minshew? The
I only did 5
expected
tiers.
backup quarterback for the Colts.
Yeah, let's say that Gardner Minshew sets tier 7 for us. Because I only did 5 tiers and Minshew's down below that. But yeah, he's definitely a backup now with Anthony Richardson in there. He might start a couple of games to start the season off, or if things go really haywire for Anthony Richardson, he could get benched. I don't think that's going to happen, but yeah,
no.
tier 7, that seems about right.
Didn't Yurtse have a quote already about they intend to play Anthony Richardson there? Like it came out, I forget what the exact wording was, but yeah, he's already been relegated to backup duties, and that's probably what he'll do. He may go to a team who needs a stopgap from time to time, but that's not what you want in Dynasty. Tier 7 for me as well. What about you, Jorge? Where are you putting Gardner Minshew?
Tim, I'm sorry, but yeah, tier 7. I got him there. Nobody loves jorts more than me, but yeah, and I love the picture, by the way.
Gardner Minshew going to end up down in tier 7. Down to tier 7. Also, Jay saying, I take responsibility for Hurts. Looks like I didn't put him in the folder. Jay, that's okay. You got some beautiful pictures in there. And we just know tier 1 for Hurts, so we didn't even have to talk about it. Would everyone put Jalen Hurts in tier 1?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. He is my third guy that's there.
We'd have him up there in tier 1. All right. Gardner Minshew ended up in tier 7. Joseph Wright, C3P Joe.
Listen, I want to talk about a guy that's going to be in tier 4 for me that I think earned a job last year that nobody expect him to be there for more than a year, and that's Geno Smith. The Seattle Seahawks were 15th in pass attempts last year, but they finished in 7th in completions and 4th in touchdowns in the league. It's a very efficient offense, and I think if you're going to start a win now team and you're saying like the 4th or 5th round of your dynasty drafts, Geno Smith's someone you can look at, roll out year 1, and I honestly think he's going to be there for a couple years in Seattle as the quarterback. So yeah, Geno Smith, tier 4 for me. I'd be happy to get him there.
Yeah, his contract extension was for 3 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they gave him some security. I know my cousin's been in on Geno Smith in Dynasty since he got that start. Said, I see something. He's probably going to be the starter next year. And I was hesitant. I was hands off. I don't know. This is an unsure situation. We've got all of the past Geno Smith to point to that this isn't the Geno Smith we'll keep getting. But we kept getting it over and over and over again. And then this NFL draft did nothing but secure his position there and add pieces for him to throw the ball to. So
yeah,
I'm in the middle of the season, I probably would have said tier 5, tier 4, and solidly in that tier 4 range. He's a great win now quarterback, like Joey said. Jorge, where are you putting our friend Geno Smith?
I got him in tier 4 also. He's I like him so much. I love the fact that they brought in Jackson Smith and Jigba. I mean, I sat back and I started thinking about it in my lifetime of watching football. I've only seen 2 other quarterbacks that like bounced around and then became starters like at age 30, and it was Rich Gannon and Jim Plunkett. And those 2 guys played in Super Bowls. I don't know if Geno will, but I think he's definitely going to have them in the playoffs. I mean, gosh, he just added weapons. And Zach Charbonnet too, so he's a pass catching running back. He's a little sneaky, kind of like Lawrence and Burrow and Mahomes, kind of little just enough sneaky rushing upside, probably about 250 to 300 yards that you could get out of him.
Enough that it makes a difference in fantasy. It gives you that little bit of boost. We've got 3 tier 4s now. Tim, unless you bury him or send him to tier 1, your vote's probably not going to change where he lands. But where are you putting Geno Smith?
I like him a lot. Depends on how long you're reaching out for Dynasty. That's really the only reason I don't put him up into that tier 3. So I'll stick with tier 4, but this offense is going to be a lot of fun this year. I'm very excited to watch it.
That defense shouldn't be too much better this year than it was last year too, right?
Yeah. he finishes the QB5. Like, he's not going to do that again. But, like, is top 12 really out of the realm of possibility for him?
No, I don't think so. I haven't done my
not with those weapons.
Yeah, it's
if we're excited for multiple receiving weapons there, if we're excited for Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf, and JSN, then we gotta have Geno Smith as the top 12 quarterback.
Have to.
Right? Like, you have to. Otherwise, cross one of those out, like at least a minimum. We'll see. Also,
plus 4 games against the Rams and the Cardinals secondaries that are really being rebuilt.
That helps out a little bit. Also, Dustin coming in here saying they can cut Geno after this year as a post-June 1st cut and save $22 million in cap space, only an $8 million dead cap. So they do have an out. We'll see that. But if he plays well this year, we'll see what happens. It's probably going to depend on where Seattle's picking in the draft next year as well. There's some big names that people are trying to gun for next year.
Hendon Hooker was like somebody I was watching during the draft, and I was like, if he goes to Seattle or if he goes to Detroit or at the time it was Tennessee, like one of those 3 teams. I wonder. And so when Seattle didn't take another quarterback that high, I was got a little more optimistic for Geno.
All right. Well, we're going to move on to our next quarterback here. I get to pick the next name. Mm-hmm. And I think I want to keep filling this board out, get some names in some other areas. So I want to talk about Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford still has fantasy relevancy if he's healthy and on the field. He's a incredible quarterback. He's got Cooper Kupp there. You want those fantasy points on your team. He's older, he's injured, and he's on a declining franchise, a team that is making moves to show they're probably not trying to compete this year. Just because of what he can do for you this year, he's going to land in tier 5 for me, but I don't have any confidence about a single year after this. And so because of that, it's solely right now value is enough to get him in tier 5. Jorge, where are you putting Matthew Stafford?
I got him right there too. But the thing is, I also look at the fact that all the reports, and me being in LA, are that he is healthy. He's throwing. So this is not like last year where he wasn't throwing basically throughout all of training camp and then just did it at the beginning of the season. The big thing is he healthy from how healthy is he from the concussions, and everything looks good. And the other thing I'm looking at, the Rams added to their offensive line, so hopefully they're building up a little bit more of a wall in front of them. Their defense is not going to be as good, so I think there's going to be some shootout games with Stafford. And with Stafford and Kupp, I think there are going to be some games, maybe they'll lose, but there are going to be some 31-28 games in there that could be fun for fantasy, maybe similar to like the Lions last year.
Fantasy doesn't care if Stafford loses, just if he throws 3 touchdown passes.
300 yards, 3 TDs.
That's all they care about.
With 2 going to Kupp.
Exactly. Perfect. Get that stack. You're looking good. We got 2 tier 5 so far. Tim, where are you putting Matthew Stafford?
I'm just a little bit nervous about the arm and the shoulder. So I'd probably go 6. I also just have a sneaking suspicion that he might be retiring. He's not this season. He'll be here this season, but I don't know how much left he even really wants to play at this point. So I know he's a competitor and whatnot, but football hurts, man. And he's been beat up his whole career. So give me 6. I am curious what y'all think about Akers though this year. I am very curious. It's everybody's been off the wagon, and now it's like, well, what do we do?
That is, I refuse to play that game. I think that is the one player I sit out on. I just sit out. That's okay. I don't have a negative opinion, a positive opinion. Just whatever happens. That's what happened with Cam Akers. And good job for those of you that predicted it. I'm sorry for those of you that didn't. And I'm just sitting on the sideline watching everybody else try to analyze what the hell is going on with Cam Akers.
I think I've said enough bad stuff about residents or former residents of Tallahassee this week that I probably shouldn't.
Jorge, where do you stand on Cam Akers? Are you back in this year?
No. I think it's last year of a contract. I mean, maybe they run him, but I don't trust that he's going to be healthy. They added Zach Evans, who is a sneaky running back is going to steal some carries, and they still have Kyron Williams. They have the McVay offense is basically built off the Shanahan offense, where they just use a lot of different running backs that, unless they have a Todd Gurley, which neither of these guys is.
Yeah. Last I checked, they weren't. I'm pretty sure Cam Akers is nowhere near a Todd Gurley. We got 2 tier 5s, a tier 6. Joe, you got the last vote on Matthew Stafford. Where are you going to put him?
I'll put him in tier 5. If I said Geno was a tier 4 and he could be a 1 or 2 year replacement, I think Stafford's still capable. I'd much rather have somebody like Geno or Bryce Young over Stafford, but Stafford would be serviceable for your dynasty team if you need a quarterback to get by 1 year, maybe 2.
Joey,
Just
what
not
about
at that
him
level of Geno.
in redraft? Would you prefer Stafford or Geno as your one quarterback next year?
I'm probably even higher on Geno in redraft.
Oh, yeah.
I need to look. He's either 9 or 10 right now for me.
You like it, Jorge? What about you? Is it Stafford or Geno if this is redraft?
Geno by a couple of spots, and better line, better, more weapons. I mean, I don't think there's a better receiver than Cooper Kupp among the Rams and the Seahawks, but then 2, 3, 4 are definitely on the Seahawks.
Yeah, I was going to say, damn, there's some pretty good wide receivers between those two teams.
Yeah.
All right, well, Jorge, we're back to you now. You get to pick the next player that we put on this tier list. Which quarterback would you like to discuss, judge, and rate next?
Oh, let's have some fun again, because all you need is love. Jordan Love.
Okay.
No, let's throw him out there. Let's have some fun. I think there's going to be some big variation on here. I like what I saw, but it was 8 passes, so they added to the weapons. That offense is not always easy to pick up for young receivers, but even though Romeo Doubs and Christian Watson had their moments, I got him firmly in tier 6 right now. But I want to see the show. I want to see the show.
Tier 6 from Jorge for Jordan Love. Tim, where are you putting Jordan Love? And Scampers on, you're saying finally a spicy one.
Caliente.
I don't know. I don't know. 5.
He just feels like a 5. Just right there.
Like a 5.
Right there down at 5. Or he wants to see the show. Tim says, I don't know. Joe, how are you going to put Jordan Love in this tier list? That was a lot of rhymes that I did not intend to do right there. And I felt like I couldn't say the next word because it didn't end in O. Joe,
I have Jordan Love at the bottom of my tier 4.
Yes.
Built some anticipation there. I'm learning. I mean, I do like what Green Bay did during the draft, getting him 2 really strong tight ends and then a great slot receiver. I've mentioned it 100 times. Like, I like when a rookie quarterback or a first year quarterback in a system gets a good slot receiver to use as just kind of a safety blanket. I like the situation for Jordan Love, just not as much as, those tier 3 guys.
I feel like my judgment of Jordan Love gets clouded by how stupid of a pick it was for the Packers at the time, right? Like, I feel like I think back, like, what the hell were they thinking taking him in the first round? But take a step back, try to remove that from it. He was a first round draft pick by the Packers, who have a pretty damn good history of drafting good quarterbacks for their team. I liked him as a prospect. I hated the landing spot because we have to sit there and wait. And they obviously have enough trust in him that they were not just comfortable, but planned to move on from their potential Hall of Fame quarterback, Aaron Rodgers, to hand the team over to this guy. Joey already mentioned the weapons they added for him. I'm with Joey. Upside in Packers language alone, he's tier 4 for me. He's right at the bottom, but he is tier 4. But that's going to be 2 tier 4s, a tier 5, and a tier 6, which brings him solidly in tier 5. So we will put Jordan Love in tier 5 for Dynasty. Where you at, Jordan Love? There you are. Jordan Matthew Stafford. All right, Jorge, that was a spicy one. Tim, you've got the next pick. Which quarterback are we talking about?
How much time do we have left? How many rounds?
15 minutes.
Ooh, not much. All right, I got to do Tua. I got to pick Tua.
Yes.
Just because I'm a big fan, I'll probably put him in 2, but I could see him being in that tier 3 range. But I mean, weapons, he's going to have a fantastic season. I'm not too worried about the concussions. The man's taking jiu-jitsu lessons to learn how to fall. I saw rumors that we're going after Taylor Lewan from the Titans, beef up that line a little bit more. So I think I think he's going to be solid for a good amount of time. Give me tier 2, and let's go Fins, baby.
Tim going Tua in tier 2. Joey, where are you putting Tua Tagovailoa?
Tim, my younger brother, I applaud you in your fandom. However, it's a little too high. It's a little bit. I'm in tier 3. I love Tua. The tier 2 guys are just almost borderline tier 1 guys. I feel like Simon and Jorge's tier 1 is my tier 1 and 2. I think I just made a dividing line between the two because I just can't be happy with my life, apparently. But no, Tua is someone I am excited about. He's got 2 fantastic weapons. And the addition of A-Chain in that offense, I think would be really good for the Dolphins. He could make the league to tier 2 for me, but right now he's tier 3.
We got tier 3 from Joey, tier 2 from Tim. And I feel like my tier 2 is almost like my tier 1 taxi squad. It's like the guys where I'm like, just show me a little more. Like, just show me a little more, and then we'll bump you up into that tier 1. Like, it's almost like I think you're talent-wise equal to the people in tier 1. I just need a little more from the fantasy production side to have that trust. And Tua's in that tier 2 for me. It slides right in with guys like, I'll say names, Lamar Jackson and Justin Fields for me. I have Tua that high. Tank for Tua wasn't that long ago. We finally get a coach in there who wants to work with him, get him some weapons, and boom, what Tua was great at in college. Whoa! He's good at it in the NFL too. Who would have ever thought that the same strengths would have translated? I'm in on Tua, and I'm not a Dolphins fan. I'm going to put him in tier 2 as well. Jorge, we've got a tier 2, a tier 3, a tier 2. And what will you do?
You know what? I've heard the tier 2 is the tier 1 taxi squad, and that's exactly what I have. But I have him firmly in tier to the top of tier 3 for me. I mean, right there with Anthony Richardson and Deshaun Watson. I mean, this guy almost averaged 300 yards last year per game, and I mean, gosh, I mean, it was like, you know, playing Madden with him, you know, watching him and throwing him out there. And if you had him on a couple weeks where he was really on, and you had him and Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill in your DFS lineup, you were just piling up points. I think I want to see him healthy. Wishing good thoughts for him, but yeah, I think I like Tua, and plus I don't want to get trolled by Tua non.
All right, well, Tua's going to end up in tier 3 after that. 2 tier 2s, 2 tier 3s, putting it at 2.5.
Is he above Richardson in tier 3, or what do you think? I think I definitely put him above, but
I know Joey has Richardson ahead of Tua. I have Tua ahead of Richardson. Jorge, what order do you have?
Richardson over Tua by 2 spots.
Wow.
Okay, now with it 2-2, we'll leave it as is.
Yeah, I'm really high on Richardson this year. I mean, 2024, I'm high on Richardson. I'm really sky high on Richardson.
Oh wait, did I say tier 4 for Tua?
You said 3.
Okay.
Did you mean 4?
No, I meant 3.
Okay, 3 works. And it's your turn to pick the next player. Which quarterback do you want to relegate to a tier on this chart next, Joey?
I want to send. I just want to. It's not fun, but can we just real quick? Can we just all agree Patrick Mahomes tier 1?
Yeah, we can just do that.
Yeah,
we can just do that. Yeah, we don't need. You don't have to waste your turn with that, Joe. We got.
Yeah, just like I want to see him on there. Like draft Patrick Mahomes. Like for me,
just do it.
He's my dynasty QB1. That's maybe I need to talk about him. Is if you're starting a dynasty draft, he is who I would take number 1 overall.
Well, Joey, do you want to nominate another one? We all just agreed on that one. You don't have to use your turn on Patrick Mahomes.
Okay. Let's talk about Justin Fields.
Okay, I like
a little
talking
spicy.
about Justin Fields.
I have him in tier 2. I feel like the panel will disagree with me. Yes, he has that rushing upside, but the passing game has a lot to be desired, and not necessarily from his talents, but just the pieces around him. I do like DJ Moore. They brought him in. He's just not a tier 1 guy for me yet, but definitely firmly smack dab in the middle of tier 2 for me.
I'm with you, C3P, Joe. He's on that taxi squad. I saw magic from that man this year. I saw literal magic on the field, what he could do with his feet, and some flashes of what he could do with his arm. They need to protect him, and he needs to get better at knowing when to scramble. And I think that's going to come with a little bit more time in the league. So he's in that 2 for me, just waiting for that passing game to increase ever so slightly, for him to be slightly more efficient as a passer, and he'll be sniffing tier 1 next year. We've got 2 tier 2s. Jorge, where are you putting Justin Fields?
I got him in tier 2 as well. I'm cracking up at Scott's last message, but you know what, the DJ Moore edition just screams to me of Stephon Diggs 3 years ago going to the Bills. Not expected to be a highlight, a number one receiver, but he becomes a number one receiver with a quarterback with a big arm. I think Justin Fields, he was a good deep passer at Ohio State. We saw some flashes last year, but he didn't get a lot of time. They worked on the offensive line, got him more help in the running game. I think this is if he's going to jump this year, it's going to happen, and I'm betting on the fact that he's going to jump. I just grabbed him in a best ball draft in the 4th round as my QB1, and let's see how that one comes out.
I like it. We've got 3 tier 2s. Tim, where are you putting Justin Fields?
I mean, just based on where Tua landed, I'd have to say 3 because I have them, right next to each other. But he's going to wind up in tier 2 because, yeah. I'm not mad about it.
I just forgot you weren't the dictator of this show, and that it wasn't an authoritarian exercise for a moment there, and just put what you did.
It is fun seeing Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields. That's been the conversation for years now. Just right next. That's right.
And I love that now we can all just say yes. They're both very good. You know what I mean? We don't have to fight anymore. We got Coop in the chat. What's up, Coop? Said, yeah, just put Patrick Mahomes and Mac Jones at 1 and let's move on. Yeah, we can just do that real quick.
Oh, no.
Also, Mr. Scamper's down here saying, yeah, just go ahead and throw Bryce Young up there as well. Yeah, we already did Bryce Young, but we must have made a mistake that he's not in 1. Ricky Butts in the chat. What's up, Mr. Butts? Welcome in, my friend. Glad to have you. Glad to have you in here. Well, time for the next player. I get to pick one. And I saw our friend Anthony in here come in and say, curious to see where Dak lands with this list. So I'm going to bring Dak Prescott up. And this is one of the more interesting ones to me because Dak is always older than I remember. He's significantly older than I remember every time I look. In my mind, he's 26, but he is not 26. I'm pretty sure he's 30 or something like that.
29.
That being said,
29.
He's in a high-powered offense that will probably continue to be high-powered. He lacks some of the upside of some of these other quarterbacks, but I think like end of tier 3, top of tier 4 is where you got to put Dak Prescott, and I'm gonna put him in tier 3. I think he's done enough and provides that level of consistency. And quarterbacks play into their mid-30s regularly now. Dak Prescott's a tier 3 quarterback. Jorge, where are you going to put Dak? I'm curious to see where everyone has him.
I got him in tier 3, right behind Tua. I like Dak's consistency when he's been on the field. He's the only thing that worries me a little bit is, does Mike McCarthy still have it as a play caller? He's taking over the reins this year, but they did beef up the offensive line a little bit last year. Tony Pollard is still a great weapon for him out of the backfield. So I think I think we could be looking at another 4,500 yards and 30 touchdowns if Mike McCarthy gives him the chance to do what he needs to do. And though he's not running as much as he was before.
You can't be mad about 4,500 plus yards in that volume of touchdowns, though, if we can get that. We got 2 tier 3s. Tim, where are you putting Dak?
I mean, I'm pretty nervous about McCarthy. The dude's kind of a bozo at this point. So, plus the fact I'm not entirely sure I want to trust any quarterback in the NFC East other than Jalen Hurts, because I think the Eagles might just destroy every single quarterback that they face. So I'm legitimately concerned for Dak's health when he has to play the Eagles, because they are just going to be just terrifying. So I'll go 4 just because I think he's going to get hurt, and I don't want him to get hurt. I just think the Eagles are scary. I just think they're so scary.
Tough division. Maybe they're not as competitive as they were hoping to be in that division. Yeah. Joey, we got 2 3s and a 4. Where are you putting Dak?
He's in my tier 3. Kind of towards the bottom of tier 3. Yeah, Tua and Bryce Young are below him, but yeah, tier 3.
That's going to land him in tier 3 with 3 tier 3s and a tier 4. Jorge, do you want to give us one more player, our last one for this list before we sign off for today?
Oh, let's do we want to get spicy again?
It's up to you.
Yes.
The reins are yours, Jorge.
Oh my goodness. You know what? This is a player who has incredible Trey Lance. Let's talk about Trey Lance. Because I think he's going to go. I think we can go all over the place. Sorry, Mr. Scampers. But that's the thing. Do we know where he's going? Do we know he's staying? We don't know if Purdy is going to be healthy. Could he actually play himself into being fantasy relevant this year? Because we haven't seen enough to really get a great idea on him. I've got him. Where do I have him? I think I have him in 6. Yeah, I have him. No, actually, I have him top of 7, toward the top of 7.
Tier 7 from Jorge for Trey Lance. Tim, where are you putting Trey Lance?
I would actually put him up a bit higher, man. If Purdy can succeed in that offense, I still have to have faith that Trey Lance can survive or thrive in that offense. So I'm actually I'll put Trey Lance up there in the 5 category right now. Once we see it spill out, I think you get him at a value right now because people are gonna doubt the fact that it even starts, but he's gonna start. He's going to. That's just the short answer. He's going to.
We've got a 7 and a 5. Joey, where are you going for Trey Lance?
While I don't like seeing Jordan Love in tier 5, it makes me want to kind of push Trey Lance to tier 6. I have Trey Lance in my tier 5. So my personal tier 5, he would be in 5. I think there still is some potential there with him, especially if a quarterback goes down this year. San Francisco could send him out in a trade. And we'll see what he can still do. But I do think Purdy has that starting job to start the season if he's healthy.
It is, Joe, you brought up what I was going to say. A lot of the Jordan Love arguments apply here, but he doesn't have a starting job lined up for him. He doesn't have a team behind him saying, we believe in him. He's going to be our starting quarterback. So I'm with you. And I think I am comfortable pushing him down to tier 6 because of that. I've still got hope. I'm believing in this dude. He's a starting quarterback or a non-starting quarterback that I've got ahead of certain starters in Dynasty, but it's going to be tier 6 for me. So that is a 7, 2 5s, and a 6, which with a little bit of math comes out to 5.75, which is going to put Trey Lance squarely in tier 6. This is our tier list incomplete for today. We will continue working on this over the next couple weeks. Make sure we get a complete Dynasty quarterback tier list for you guys. But that's going to be it for us today. Jorge, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to come on and help us out with our Dynasty quarterback tiers.
Oh, this is awesome. Anytime I get to hang out with the FYF crew, mi familia, love you guys. And make sure Monday night football, it's going to be me and Joey doing another underdog draft. This time we'll do a single QB. So we might even let you guys join us to draft.
Yeah, we had so much fun the other week that I was just like, Jorge, I had so much fun. Can we just hang out again sometime soon? So we're doing a Monday night again.
Yep.
Monday night. Well, Jorge, we really appreciate you taking the time. And everybody watching, if you're not already following our friend Jorge, how you can make sure to not miss that Monday night show and all of the other awesome stuff he's putting out is follow him on Twitter at Jorge Martin 17. That is Jorge Martin 17. And guys, if you're not sick of us yet, great news. Me, Tim, and Joey, we got round 2 coming up a little bit later today as well, 6 p.m. Eastern time. It is Pub Trivia Bettercast, brought to you by Front Yard Fantasy here on Better Sports Network. You can join me, Joey, and Tim for our special Star Wars edition of Pub Trivia. We're going to have 3 packs, 10 questions each, 3 rounds to come on in. 2 of them are going to be your classic FYF football/random trivia. The other one's going to have a little bit of a Star Wars twist to it. So if you want to play along with us, 6 p.m. Eastern time, make sure you download the Better Sports Network app for free and play along with us at 6 p.m. Eastern time. We are looking forward to it, baby. That is going to be it for us today, though, everybody. Make sure to join us at 6 p.m. Until then, though, we are out of here. Stick around right after us here on BSN for the 5-pack with Kyle Elfrink. Until 6. Adios, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Where is that outro?
Salud.
Did you hide it, Joey? I told you not to move it.
I gotcha.